Through my life, I've really understood and realized that there's a lot of beauty that lies in the gray in between. In our country, we kind of live in this over-polarized, over-sensationalized space where you either live on one side of the spectrum or you either live on the other side. It's not a lot of mixing in betweens. You can't agree with some points and disagree with some and still live a comfortable life without someone challenging you. And for me growing up in Birmingham, Alabama, someone who grew up without but now is in a position to have, I feel like I have a very unique perspective on the different tierisms and the different levels that we separate ourselves in here in America. So one of my best friends growing up, he was the one guy in our friend group who was able to have a car. Parents got him a car when we were in high school. It was like the Super Bowl for us. We could finally drive around, be normal teenagers, do normal teenager stuff. You know, like go to the movies, go to the mall, hang out in Waffle House parking lots. That's something that was really celebrated in Birmingham, Alabama. So one night we were driving. He had a Chevy Caprice. I want to say it's like a 1996 Chevy Caprice round body. And if you guys know anything about Chevy Caprice, that's like the old policeman car, right? So that already kind of sticks out a little bit on the scene. And he had like these monster race tires on the back. I don't know why he had that, but that's what it was. I thought it was cool. One night we were driving around and police pulled us over. And when the police came up to the window, he was very aggressive right off the bat. I remember I was in the back seat and the first thing he did was tap his flashlight on my window and tell me to sit up, which I thought was weird. You know, I had my seatbelt on. I wasn't doing anything illegal. Told me to sit up, and he told us to turn the music down, even though it was at a pretty tolerable level. And immediately he told us to get out of the car without even, you know, asking us for any information, any license or registrations. And, you know, us being young kids, we didn't really know our rights at the time, so we just got out of the car. He put us all in like these zip-tied handcuffs, sat us on the curb, and rummaged through the car and searched the car without a warrant or any of those different things. And I can tell there was a lot of pre-assumptions that the policeman came in with this situation. A bunch of guys who didn't look like they came from a lot of money. Again, this wasn't a really new car. It looks like a car that a lot of guys would get from a junkyard or something like that. And he searched the car and kind of, you know, accused us of, you know, stealing the car. He didn't ask, you know, where we got the car from. He'd already kind of called back up, and the way they handled us was really, really rough. Fast forward, I remember when I was in Detroit, I got pulled over in a situation where I had a newer car. I had a new Mustang, and I got pulled over. And in that situation, I was treated completely different because of, you know, my status at the time, because of my financial footing at that time was a lot greater than what it was when I got pulled over when I was a teenager. And reflecting on that moment, it was really eye-opening that it's always black or white, you know, where you see one guy who looks like he is, you know, not supposed to be in a certain situation, so you treat them less than how you would treat your friend or your family member or just a civilian. And I was in another situation where I lived in a better neighborhood. I drove a better car, and my name actually had a lot more premise to it at the time. So the policeman actually was very kind to me. And it was just a reminder to me that with all the things that are going on in our country, there is gray in between. There is room to understand one another, and there's room for us to exist in many mediums. Yes, I am black, but yes, I am someone who has built a nice life for myself. Yes, I was black back then, and yes, I was someone who also existed in a neighborhood that didn't have a lot of money. Those are two things that are truth. Those are things that can change all the time. And until we, you know, open the space for each other to welcome the gray in between, a lot of those assumptions will continue to perpetuate themselves. So I want to encourage everyone to just take the time to not assume when you see someone, or not, you know, put a label automatically on someone just because of what you see their socioeconomic situation may be, because a lot of times it can surprise you.